What's up, Carla?
What's up?
We are here in Miami, Florida.
Yes, we are.
Getting ready for Big Bang 2022. And one of the things, what have we been doing today?
We've been scouting for Leaving to Learns for the conference.
We're very excited about some of the opportunities we have for you. Before we talk to today's guest, I just want to shout out Carlos Moreno. What's up, Carlos? How you doing? So one of the Leaving to Learns we're hoping to land is with a pretty cool graffiti artist named Pedro Amos. Pedro, did I get your name right?
Yes, you got it right.
All right, and I just got to flip the camera and
BAM!
Hasn't happened yet. All right.
BAM!
There you go. There you go. So, Pedro, thank you for having us in your space.
Yes.
Tell us where we are right now.
All your scouting led you to me. All the hard work and scouting that y'all did led you to me. We are in Wynwood, Florida at my studio. This is where I make the messes, and then we take those clean messes to my gallery, Pedro Amos Galleria. Wynwood, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And one of the things that we were talking about earlier is like, well, how did you find out that graffiti was something you were interested in?
I've always been interested in graffiti since I was a little kid, from gang graffiti, where they used to, paint on my grandma's fence, to, big, elaborate, colorful murals. And I was drawn to, the subculture of it all, right? Because I knew it said something. I just didn't know what it said. I didn't know who did it, how they did it, when they did it. I just knew that I would take the same route to school, and one day it wasn't there, the next day it was, and that blew my mind. So back in the day, it wasn't as easy as it is now, right? Where you can just do a Google search and find someone that paints in Pittsburgh and link up with them, or maybe you like their style, you could just Google it, say it. Back then, it was more of like a tutelage thing. So we had this thing where each one teach one was the phrase, right? And so we had to find someone that was interested in or did it, and then you guys would venture off into an abandoned place that you saw and go and do it. So the adventure of it all for me was really fun. And I didn't know I could make a career out of it. Actually, you couldn't really make a career out of this, but we figured out a way,
Do you recall? Do you recall a mentor that helped you along the way?
Yeah, several. A buddy of mine named Steve, who used to write Orem, a guy named Mendez, who writes Baser, who just came out an incredible documentary called Rolling Like Thunder on Showtime. Rumor, which is a good friend of mine. Yeah, I had a bunch of people, and those guys are all about 7 years older than me, and that's the way it used to go. Yeah.
At what point did you know that this could lead to a career? Because oftentimes, people think my interests, are
Don't
just
align,
interests.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that the education component was important about the graffiti, street art, and all that stuff. So what I did was start a tour company named Miami's Best Graffiti Guide, the only artist-owned and operated tour company here in Wynwood. And we do tours here. We do tours in Montreal every year. And from that, the education, documentation, and actual art, they're all equally important, right? Because this kind of work is ephemeral. It'll get gone over. It'll get knocked down. There could be an inebriated couple that writes on it, "Pedro loves Mary," on your wall or something. So it's you never know, right? So it started from the education component and trying to teach about it, and from there I was able to gain recognition for my actual art, and that so both of these things started kind of rolling in unison, and here we are, strangers in a room here with Pedro and Wynwood.
So you had people that were going to come to our conference and we're going to select which excursion they wanted to go to. Like, what is it about the Wynwood Walls community that would be enticing to someone to visit?
So the Wynwood community, the Wynwood neighborhood, has easily over 24 countries represented, easily over 200 murals represented, and this is all in a 20 block square block radius. Top tier of the world. You have international artists, you have incredible portraits, graffiti, abstract expressionism. I mean, you got it all down here. So it's very important. And in terms of the two events that we provide, one is an actual tour where we do a tour in the neighborhood, explain to you who did the art and all that good stuff. And the other part is actually trying to do it. I like it because you'll go around and look at things and you're like, oh, that's pretty nice colors, and I like that thing. And then when you go and try and execute it, you get another perspective and maybe another appreciation for how difficult it is,
Los, you got a question you want to ask?
So we're having a conversation now about bringing a variety of different conference attendees here to learn and engage with you. What are some of the things that they can expect if those folks coming to Big Bang, if they come here and spend a day with you?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what else there is to do. This is going to be the funnest one. This is it. It really is. It's going to be fun. This kind of art, for real, this kind of art is there hasn't been an art movement like this since the Renaissance, right? There's nothing so international and so changing. This kind of art is changing, you know, suburban environments, cosmopolitan cities, I mean, all over the world. So this is a very important moment in history where, you know, something that was demonized is now become so in the spotlight and solicited. The other thing that I take pride in too is that, you know, graffiti is an American art form. We don't have so many of them. We have like jazz, we have big band, we have graffiti, and there's a few other things. But I take a lot of pride in that. So it's good to know that we have such an influential art form that came from here. But don't come if you don't want to. See how you regret it. See how all your friends are going to be talking about it at lunch.
My last question, I don't know Carla and Carlos have any more, is like, we've been talking to you for like an hour now, and it gives me the privilege to cherry pick what I'd love for you to talk about. I really loved talking about the adaptability of graffiti spaces, whether it be the side of a train or a wall that has like a branch or a firebox on it. Like, what do you have to bring to a graffiti experience that is different than just drawing on a flat canvas?
I mean, definitely an open mind. Like you said, you alluded to, you know, the adaptability of it all. Remember, like, you know, you're subject to all the elements, right? Wind and rain, and people come in and ask you, hey, what are you doing? What does it say? You know, everyone wants to know things, right? And so it's, you know, there's that. And remember, these aren't, you know, flat canvases. There are, in fact, you know, electrical boxes. There are palm trees or trees in general, shrubbery or all kinds of stuff, you know, up and down. I mean, you can usually put a canvas on a wall and work it out. But when you have all these different elements, it's different. And I love that. I think that that's a plus, not so much a hindrance, right? A kind of hurdle.
Nice. Anything else? All right. Well, let me flip back around and say, Pedro, thank you so much for your time. And I don't know if this is going to be the greatest experience, but it's definitely going to be a great experience.
Get out of here.
So we're excited to have folks in town in July. We're excited to have folks specifically here in Wynwood and working with Pedro and his crew, because I think it's going to be a terrific experience.
Yes.
Carla?
With that, register for Big Bang. And we'll see you later.
Nice.
We'll pause.
Keep talking.
We'll keep talking.